I'm just gonna stick this right here over here.
Sure.
I don't know what it's gonna do for me. So there we go.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't have to adjust this or?
Nope. You can if you wish.
That should be fine.
Yeah, it's a broadcast mic, so yeah, and I'll just gauge your your volume here as well. Yeah. So we have 35 seconds, and then we're on.
Okay, sure. Do I have to put headphones on? Or?
No, you're all good.
And you do weekly?
I'm sorry?
You do weekly, right? Weekly.
Every Wednesday.
Cool.
Yeah. 93.3 CFMU, music there from Chris Spedding from the Joyland album, which was released a few years ago. The saxophone playing on that particular record is from Andy Mackay. The song is called The Pied Piper, and that is your MP3 of the week. It's 4:04. Welcome to the show. Hour number 2 of today's show, and as promised, in the studio with me is Mr. David Byers of The Shangs. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, welcome. I'm
Definitely.
glad that you made time during your day this afternoon to talk with us.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
My pleasure, and we're really, I'm really honored to have the support.
Well, you know what, deservedly.
Thank
But
you.
just out of curiosity, what do you normally do on Wednesday afternoons?
Oh, we have 2 acres of land, so probably have somewhere. We have a barn and 2 acres of land and a big, huge old Victorian house. So stuff around there. You know.
Wow.
And we.
So you don't live in the city.
No, I live outside of Binbrook in the country.
How long have you lived out there?
About 6 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are you liking it?
Oh yeah, like for my age, normally we would be downsizing. We kind of upsized a bit because we weren't in the country before, and on 2 acres. But it works out great. It's
Well,
wonderful.
and I mean this as a compliment, but you're aging very well.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. People say that, but I mean,
Yeah.
could I be rotting from the inside out? I don't know. Who knows? But
Does it have anything to do with living out in the country?
I don't think so. But it is physical.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Now, do you like have a garden? Do you?
Oh yeah,
you
like
do.
gardens and like I said, the big old Victorian barn, which I'm kind of reimagining or redoing. It needed a lot of work, so renovating it. So
Right.
so that's a fair amount of work, and it's very gratifying. At the same time.
Therapeutic, I would imagine as well.
I guess if you need it,
But you're not very far from the city if you want to get
Oh
some
no,
city
it's
action.
10 minutes from everything. So,
Right.
So it's nice in that respect. We hope it, the urban sprawl doesn't encroach on our area, but who knows if it does, we move forward, further away.
Maybe a while before that
Yeah,
happens over there,
so
right?
and I do music too, so I mean, so.
Well, let's talk about your music.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the release of the new record.
Yeah, thank you, wonderful.
Special thanks to Bruce Mowat
Yes,
for
he did.
setting this up.
Yeah, thank you. He's
I
a
know
real champion of the band.
that's what you're saying, and I know many years ago he was the one who introduced me to your music.
Yeah,
A
thank
long time ago.
Right.
And around the time when the Saucer were starting to get,
Right.
this breath of fresh air again with the release of Cyborgs, or the re-release of Cyborgs,
Right.
he told me about the Shangs,
Yeah,
and I didn't
cool.
know much about the Shangs at all.
Yeah, right.
So let's use this for music for dummies who perhaps have never
Yeah.
listened or heard about the Shangs.
Yeah.
When did you guys get together?
Well, coincidentally, we got together about the same time that unbeknownst to us, that the Cyborgs album was first being released, which is around 1989. We got around that time, 1989, into a year after that, and then we recorded about 1991, and then put out a first.
How many people in the band back then?
Well, back then there was just a duo. It was a duo, myself and Ed O'Neill.
Right.
We shared. We both were kind of multi instrumentalists, so we kind of shared different things that we needed to do. But it was basically a duo.
And excuse me.
Yeah, and we wrote songs more or less as a duo.
So when did the band actually form? Was it 1991? Was that?
Well, yeah, like I said, 89.
Okay.
Our first inclination, actually, we were, the sound ended up being a lot different than the final, the final sound, we initially wanted to play totally improvised music in a live setting, kind of the Velvet, like with kind of the Velvet Undergroundy kind of Sister Ray kind of.
Was that one of the main influences going in for Foundation?
For me, I think for both of it, it was one of the big influences. But there are many other different influences at the time. But the Velvet Underground, you know, the art rock kind of a thing. You know, like they were considered an art rock band, and I think we liked that idea of, you know, art and rock in the same phrase.
David, were you doing anything prior to the Shangs musically?
Not in a couple of years before, but in 1972, I had started Simply Saucer, the band's, you know, Simply Saucer with Edgar Bro and Paul Kalili and Kevin Christoph and Neil DeMerchant and Ed's foster brother John LaPlante. They kind of were kind of added over about a year's period from early in 1972 into 1973, and that's what was the kind of the formation of Simply Saucer. After that, I quit after 18 months, and then really didn't do much. I did a little bit of music journalism for a few years and played off and on. I played with Bob Bryden in an unnamed band for a few months in the late 70s, and then Edgar and Kevin and I got together once again in 1985-86 for a band called The Third Kind, which is more kind of a rootsy band, and we recorded some things. Kevin's brother Derek was a instrumental part also. He was a drummer, percussionist. He also recorded us. And then nothing happened after that. After 1986, nothing until 89 when the Shangs started.
So what inspired you to get back into the music in 89? Was it meeting Ed O'Neill or?
Probably, because I knew his brother. His brother and I were close friends since the early to mid 70s. But Ed was 10 years younger than myself, so he was kind of like a little teenager, like early teenager. You know, I didn't pay much attention to him, and then but 10 years later, or you know, significant time later, he had grown up, and obviously we found a common, you know, common thread in the music. So then we started the Shangs. You know, we kind of, you know, we knew we wanted to do something a little different.
Yeah, we're going to listen to some music, the first track on this album. But first of all, congratulations again.
Thank you.
It's a really great compilation, and when you listen to this, you really, as I was saying outside, it's a very musical album. You know, like a lot of the times, you just kind of accept an album for what the interpretation of music is, but a lot of the times it's not very fulfilling musically. This is a really, really great, solid album, and as you heard Jimmy Tennant saying, it's doing very well.
kind to say all that. You know, to say this thing.
We'll start off with the first song on the album. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, yeah, the song "Adore" was written as an ode to there's a movie called Day of the Locust. It's around 1974. It was an expose of the dark side of Hollywood. It was I think Karen Black was in it and a couple of other people, but there was a little kind of androgynous kid in it that kind of weaved through the picture, and ultimately he died at the end tragically. So we wrote a song kind of in that kind of vein about the, you know,
a tribute to him.
Yeah, a tribute, and also the dark side of Hollywood and the tragedy, and that's basically as
I know the title. I know the title of the movie. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it is a beautiful but disturbing movie. You know, it's not a warm and fuzzy movie, but very beautifully cinematic movie. And
kind of movie where you put the popcorn away.
Yeah, kind of. It's very thought provoking, and the song, you know, this little kid Adore, who his mother tried to push into the limelight. You know, ultimately had a doomed end, you know, a tragic end in the movie, and it was an interesting. That's the kind of thing the Shangs kind of latched onto, that kind of those tragedies, especially the O'Neill brothers.
Their storyline.
Yeah, they were really into that kind of Hollywood stuff, be it the Sharon Tate tragedy, or you know, we wrote a lot of, you know, things related to you know, the dark side of Hollywood, I guess.
Right.
For whatever we did. You know.
Well, let's enjoy some music from the Shangs, from a compilation called The Golden Hits of the Shangs. Here's a song called Adore on 93.3 CFMU.
Can
we log every
talk?
time.
I can talk?
Huh?
I can talk now, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, I don't know what to... Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The Shangs.
That's great. It's a very comfortable studio.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's really interesting when you listen to music, and like I definitely picked up on the Velvet influence, but
a little bit, yeah.
But like I mean, just it's kind of like sort of.
I mean,
a prototypical, perhaps, foundation to it.
Well, the Velvets were iconic. I mean, at the time when they were, I seen them in 1969, which was kind of a little bit life changing for me because I didn't really
talk about that on the radio.
Yeah, we could, because I didn't. You know, I heard of the band. I seen the band on a television program out of, I think it's Cincinnati, called Upbeat. And I thought, oh, what are you know, because everybody was hippy dippy, and they look so greasy and kind of dark and sinister.
Always stressed, yeah.
And I just thought, I don't, you know, at the time I didn't like them, and then I seen them at this, it's called the Toronto Pop Festival. They weren't headliners. They were sort of in mid afternoon. Just, you know.
Oh, what a contrast, right?
Yeah, and Alice Cooper was. This is like 1969.
So you went to that show?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then they backed up Gene Vincent too,
both
right?
Both bands were. You know, they were Alice Cooper and the Velvet Underground were not really well known. Alice Cooper had just put their first album on Straight Records. Right.
Praise for You.
Right. Nobody really knew who they were. And the Velvets, although they had 3 albums out at the time, you know, I could sense they had some fans there, you know, but I didn't really know. At the time, like I said, I had seen them and I didn't think they were that great. But then when I seen them live in summer afternoon in 1969, 70 or 69, they were life-changing, you know.
Oh,
they were just so, you know, and I thought, you know, I see this, and they had this female drummer, and I thought, it's weird, you know.
And very primitive drumming too, right?
And I thought maybe she to me looked kind of, you know, like, I don't know, different, you know, like she looked, you know, she looked so androgynous looking, you know, and I thought, wow, this is a wild band, you know, and they were playing more softer stuff, but beautiful music.
And the other thing that was really interesting about her drumming is like she rarely kind of drummed like most people did. She always kind of rarely used the hi-hat. I don't even think she may have even had a hi-hat.
I seen her because she had just put out her, I think, second solo album.
Yeah.
What year was it? It was in the 80s, I think.
Was that Hey Mersh?
Around the Hey Mersh time. I seen her as a soloist, and she was great. She was playing with half Japanese.
Oh, very cool.
You know, as a you know, they were a combo. She played, and they backed her up, and she played with them, and it was really a great concert. But we were, you know, I actually filmed it, you know, so I got a lot of film of that. But anyway, I mean, you got to see how she really played, you know, and it was really, you know, unique. I mean, primitive.
Did you see her in Toronto? Did you see her in Toronto?
I'm trying to think what venue it was. It wasn't a huge place, but it was like a concert hall, but it was not one of the bigger ones. Right. I can't remember which one it was. You could probably Google it to find out, but she was great, you know.
She's very approachable on Facebook too.
Yeah. I mean, she was nice, and she was nice because we were up in her face, kind of filming her. You know, we had this big old VHS thing, and she was kind enough to, you know, she was okay with it. She let us do it, and she was a very nice person.
All right, song's almost over. We'll go back on the air. 93.3 CFMU, music from the Shangs, from the Golden Hits of the Shangs. You heard a song called Adore. 417 and change. Welcome to Lose Control. David Byers of The Shangs sitting in with me talking about this compilation, which just came out, what, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month ago now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's talk about the whole idea of getting this together. When did it start,
Right.
like for the compilation?
Well, yeah, it's sort of a, because there's new stuff and old stuff. It's like a mishmash of things and stuff that's been reimagined. Well, I was, for the last maybe 6-7 years, I've been involved in a project. It's more of a commemorative project for Simply Saucer, like for founding our founding members that were still around. Kevin Christoph, Edgar Bro, myself, and Paul Kaleli. We were working on a project called Saucer 73, which kind of harkens back to our early time. From that, it kind of evolved into doing something with the Shangs. That's how basically, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it kind of seeped into that.
Right.
Even though the Saucer 73 project is basically finished, recorded and everything.
Oh, fantastic.
We lost, we did lost one of our members, sadly, Paul Cleary, last spring.
Yeah.
And that kind of derailed.
My condolences.
Yeah, that kind of derailed the project for now, but I think it will come out hopefully fairly soon.
Where did you record a lot of the earlier stuff when you were?
The earlier stuff was just recorded, it's like a home studio type of thing.
Back then?
Yeah, yeah, back then, and then I have a home studio, and then so there's 2 home studios, and then some of the tracks, some material is from Steve Foster, who was in Simply Saucer in the early 2000s. Material from that kind of weaved its way into that project. So it's sort of 3 different places.
So when the band was current, back in like 1989, 1990, what was the music scene like here in Hamilton? Like I'm presuming that you would have played quite a bit in Hamilton.
Oh, we didn't play a lot.
You did, right?
Totally through the whole, decades. It's only been like a half a dozen times.
Was there a specific reason?
Well, because I think Ed had a real fear of, like playing live. Like the anxiety was too much. And also there weren't that many venues that were sympathetic to what we were doing because we didn't play any covers. So,
right.
You got to really either have a name. Well, you have to have a name.
Sure.
Either, like
it's
a
so true about
name.
the covers, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate, that people do that, but our stuff was our stuff, and it was very also either it was kind of gritty and weird and howling, or it was super quiet. Right. So, there wasn't that many opportunities, but we did a couple of them, and they were okay. I can't remember, so far, like 30 years ago, I can't remember the details, but they were
Did you guys do any shows outside of Hamilton or Toronto?
No, never.
So this is more of a recording band?
I would say so. I mean,
that?
Out of necessity, that's what it is, because presently now, as we speak, I am the Shangs. So whatever support I have to draw from the outside, kind of, and the production values of this record are a lot more realized than what we used to do. So it may make it difficult to play live. I don't know.
Is there less of a pressure as a musician knowing that you don't have to do a lot of live shows, but you could just basically write and compose?
I guess so. I mean, the avenues for musicians now is a lot different than it was prior to the internet. I mean, you can stream. You can either stream live stuff you want, or have videos out on YouTube, and if you can get one that really captures the an audience attention, that's great. So I don't think, I mean, people like to see live bands, especially when they have a big canon of music and it has a big sound. Well, it's nice to hear it in a live setting,
right?
But that was never us.
Yeah, I know that there's bands that really get inspired by doing live shows, and then that energy just makes them more creative, or going in there and popping 10, 12 songs for another album. But for you guys, you really didn't need that. It appears that you could have you have no problem being creative without the necessity of doing live shows.
Yeah, it wasn't something that we aspired to. Like I said, we did a couple. We did this really nice a live thing for cable access TV, and they really set it up beautifully. It turned out really nice, and it was in a live setting, and the way it presented it was beautiful. So that was a really kind of a nice kind of a spin on a live kind of a thing. But as far as, you know, that was like a handful of times.
Let's pick another song from the album. What would you like to hear?
Oh my goodness, I don't. Something I guess grittier. Probably Pam's thing. The first, like, there's an instrumental version, because you know, it's kind of that would be number
track 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's kind of the
tell us a little bit about the
other
song.
side. Well, it's dedicated to. We were fanatics about a totally obscure 1960s. All-girl band from Nashville, Tennessee, called the Feminine Complex.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they put an album out in 1969. It immediately, and they broke up almost right after.
Now, how did you learn about this band?
Well, we found it in the cutout bins. You've seen it now. You know, used to
right.
go to the, you know, all the record
bins.
stores, and especially Sam the Record Man on the 3rd floor had tons of albums of all kinds, you know, but great albums that, you know, then they'd be like 99 cents, you know, but we found this at a different store. But nevertheless, we found this, the Feminine Complex, and you know, we took it home. This was Pat O'Neill and I, not Ed O'Neill, because he was too young, and we were, you know, it blew our minds. We thought it was kind of like a combination of the Velvet Underground and Shelley Fabre, kind of, you know, like a pretty, you know, like pretty stuff, and then kind of just weird and disturbing.
Yeah, pretty weird.
So we became obsessed with that band.
Yeah.
To the point I called the lead singer and songwriter in Tennessee, or she lived in Mississippi then, and talked to her, which was really a thrill. But nevertheless, a handful of our songs are dedicated to that band, either band members, and this one, which is called Pam's Thing, is an instrumental dedicated to the organist of the Feminine Complex. Her name was Pam.
Very cool.
So, and that's the way we operated. We were, you know, oddball band. So
awesome. Let's enjoy some oddball music here from the Shangs on 93.3 CFMU. Cool. I have to check out this band.
Yeah, they were an American. A couple. Since that time, in the 90s, a couple of record labels discovered it and re-released the album, which is really nice. You know, really nice. You know, they never went on to do anything, but
no one from the band jumped on to doing anything afterwards or anything.
No, apparently not. You know, they had a songwriter, the singer-songwriter in the band. She was very talented, but never seemed to do anything. I think she's presently now in real estate, and she was apparently a tennis champion.
Wow.
Apparently, I mean, but she'd be close to my age now too. So, but yeah, they're an interesting band. But I mean, the album just blew our minds, you know. So.
The Feminine Complex? I'm going to write that down so I can remember it.
Yeah, you'll see it. I mean, the album's been, like I said, re-released, and it's interesting. Well, I mean, like I said, we first seen it in 1960, or heard it in 1974. But it made an impression on us.
It's really great music.
Yeah, thanks. This is kind of the other side of the Shangs.
That's right.
We had a kind of a softer, kind of introspective.
Well, that's
we also
kind of like about being very musical. You know, it's just not very typical. Like sometimes when you hear certain bands from side A to side B to the last song, it just sounds like.
Right.
And not that there's anything wrong with it, but like it's nice to have variety on it.
Yeah, we like I said, we were always kind of a little bit schizophrenic. We still like that primal kind of stuff, and that's how the Saucer started. At the very, you know, we were very, as the late Paul Colilli says, we were out to deconstruct music instead of play it. You know? That's what he, you know, and that's the way that the sound was, and that spilled over into the Shangs.
So just advancing for when we play another song after we talk, what song would you want?
So I'd have to. Can I sing it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know where you want to go as far as.
You tell me where you want to go.
Claudine
You navigate.
is one. Claudine is another. Oh, another bleeding nose here.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, just one of those things.
Here, let me get you.
Yeah. Do I have a Kleenex?
Yeah, of course.
I think I got one. Sorry.
Well, hold on. Let me just grab it.
No, I got one. No, nice, Lou. I got one.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Just in case you need another one, David.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thanks. I don't know.
So
Sometimes
we got-
I get those things that occasionally with dry air or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Who Can See the Shadow of the Sun? Well, that was written for that Simply Saucer project.
Sure. What track is that? Just so
And this is number 13.
Okay.
And
So
it's kind of it has kind of a,
Okay.
I can tell the story of it. It's kind of a Hitchcocking.
Perfect. Once the song's done.
kind of a thing.
All right.
But it's related to the Saucer 73 because it's a different version. It's a totally different version released, or not released, but recorded with the Saucer 73. So we just there's Kevin Christoph's on here and the Saucer basis on this particular track. So. But it's
All right. We're almost on.
yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
Another 25 seconds or so.
All right.
We'll talk about the artwork.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about
Love
that. Thank you.
.93.3 CFMU. Music of the Shangs. From the Golden Hits of the Shangs, you heard a song called Pam's Thing, a dedication to one of the members
Of the Feminine Complex.
of the Feminine Complex,
Yeah.
who became a real estate agent and also a tennis player, you were telling me.
Well, the lead singer and the
Oh, not
guitar,
Pam.
not Pam
Pam,
herself.
okay, right.
I'm not sure what became of her, but the principal songwriter and lead singer of the band went on to she was apparently quite a renowned tennis player.
Yeah.
And she's in real estate in Mississippi now. So.
Wow. I was telling you off air that I wanted to talk about the artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
So when you see the cover, it automatically brings you back retrospectively to those kind of late 60s, early 70s greatest hits.
Right.
Sort of psychedelic looking.
Right.
Was that what you were trying to go with this?
Well,
Kind of Hendrix-ish?
Probably not so much Hendrix. The thing is, the cover is a replication of a 1967 album by a girl group called the Paris Sisters.
Okay.
It's an exact replication, and they were in bikinis.
Okay.
Like and what I did was I replicated each pose myself
Right.
in a Speedo bathing suit,
Right.
and then superimposed slightly the original 1967 cover. So it's kind of like it's kind of an androgynous looking cover.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Like the cover. If you look at beside the Paris Sisters, it looks exactly the same basically, except you got these kind of half man, half woman on the cover. So.
Once you open up the
A
CD,
little explanation.
Yeah.
Of that. Yeah.
You get to see a really colorful picture of a motel with the name Darlene.
Yeah, that is a shelved album from around 1997, I think. It was called. But it was supposed to. That's our third album was supposed to be called Motel Darlene, and that was basically the cover art.
Was there something in particular about this particular 1967 album that really inspired you to kind of?
I can't tell you really. I mean, I just went for it basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I had I was a record collector, so I did have the album at one time. So I don't know why I went to the point of you know, replicating,
Yeah.
but I just thought maybe that'd be a
You
cool,
felt it was right.
well, it'd be a cool cover to do.
Right. You mentioned that you're a record collector, so tell us a little bit about what the record stores were like back at the time. I imagine Mole Records would have been around.
Oh yeah.
Is that when you first met Bruce Mullen?
Probably not. There were a lot of records. I mean, especially in Toronto, a ton of record stores.
Yeah.
And Buffalo.
Yeah.
Was a great place. Yeah, I can't. I'd like to say that I know the. That's not it. No, probably the next one.
Okay.
No, that's another one. That's probably the next one.
All right, hold on.
Right. Now,
Is this
like,
it?
yeah, and this is like kind of a Manson-esque thing. It was written for one of the Manson girls.
Okay.
And it's the 50th anniversary of that
Right.
whole debacle.
Right.
So,
Okay, so we'll play that one.
okay. It's early.
Yeah, we've got about another 15 minutes altogether, so we'll
Yeah,
probably do a little
okay.
bit of talk and play this and maybe one more song. So which song did you want to leave
Oh,
off
okay.
with
So,
after that?
yeah, let me see. Yeah. I don't know what you're. Well, Claudine's a nice song.
What track is that?
That's number 11.
Let's go with that.
It's kind of a mid-tempo kind of a thing.
Okay.
And she has a story too. So.
All right.
You'll find the thing pretty plain. The Brendan McCann is pretty plaintive, but it got a lot of attention.
Right.
So.
All right, here we go. 93.3 CFMU, music from the Shangs, from the Golden Hits of the Shangs, and you heard a song called Who Can See the Shadow of the Sun. David Byers sitting in with me, talking to us about this release. Available in record stores?
Oh yeah, it's
Everywhere in the
locally.
city?
Yeah, pretty well
Awesome.
locally. Yeah, it has to get spread out a little bit further than that, but locally it is.
And available online as well?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
through Bandcamp and through on the website.
Do you guys have a Shangs website?
Yeah, www.theshangs.ca.
Okay, cool. You gave me a disc with some additional tracks, and as we set this song up, what are we going to hear?
We're gonna hear it's called The Ballad of Brenda McCann. Both Pat and Ed O'Neill were obsessed with the Sharon Tate.
You mentioned that earlier. During
Sharon Tate, the Manson, the whole thing. You know, you would call tragedy. You would call it a tragedy, but they were kind of obsessed with it, and obsessed with Sharon Tate, and consequently, we wrote a song about obviously not as observers, but not endorsing her or not criticizing or endorsing one of the members, which was Nancy Pittman, who called herself Brenda McCann, and we called the song "The Ballad of Brenda McCann," and it got a lot of airplay. It was one of the big. This is from the first album, but it got a fair amount of attention. And of course, now, 50 years later, it is the 50th. Anniversary, so to speak, of the Manson tragedy. So it's kind of a
fitting
fitting and a time capsule.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give it a listen. Here's music from the Shangs' first album on 93.3 CFMU. Sounds just like it would have come out of that time.
Yeah, it's
right?
kind of, like I said, it got a lot of attention as far as for the first album. So, if you Google it, it's on a ton of Manson. For better or worse, it's on a ton of Manson websites. Either
that's all right.
It is. I mean, we wrote the song not endorsing or as observers. So,
And it was track 11 that we're going to lead off with?
It's Claudine, I guess.
Claudine,
It's
okay.
track 11. You want me to check it out? Yeah, I think it's 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she has a story.
Okay, cool.
So.
All right, so this will take us to about 4:48. We can talk for about another 6-7 minutes,
sure.
and then
Yeah, sure.
We'll go through all the website
Yeah,
and everything
appreciate
again.
it. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. It's been really informative too,
Yeah,
eh?
thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I go way back to the mid '60s. So I mean,
It's nice to tie it all in, eh?
I mean, I seen the Doors in 1968. How many people can say that?
Right.
So I mean, that was a great, that was a great experience.
In Toronto, I presume.
They were at the CNE Coliseum.
Oh, the Coliseum, right?
Yeah, it was chaotic. It was like chaotic. It was the most exciting concert I've ever been to. Not musically, but just for the art,
Sure.
the art, theater and rock together. So
Yeah.
it was that was quite a time. Growing up in the '60s, I would never trade it for anything.
No, there was such a diversity of music, whether it was psychedelic
Well, it
or
was
garage.
exciting and new, like it was all
Yeah.
new. And now, maybe it's people think it's new now, but I don't know.
Well, the interesting thing about music is that you can listen to a piece of music from the 1940s, and if it's the first time you've ever heard it, it's new to you.
Yeah, I had a lot of stand. I listen to music from all different eras. So I mean, I appreciate music from very,
Yeah.
all kinds of different shapes and forms.
Yeah.
That's just me,
Okay, we got 25 seconds left in this, and then we'll go. .93.3 CFMU, music from the Shangs, and the song called Brendan McCann, 4:47 and change. David Byers, my special guest, sitting in with us this afternoon, talking to us about the music of the Shangs as well as the history of the Shangs. And off air, we've been talking about a lot of the shows that you'd seen. You were talking about the Doors being one of the most exciting shows you've ever seen.
Yeah, and
you saw the Velvets.
Velvets, 1969. The Doors in 1968 at the CNE Coliseum. It was singularly the most exciting concert I had been to. Not necessarily with the music, even though the Doors were a great live band. It's just the theater spectacle of it. The spectacle of it. It was just like a total spectacle, and there was the stop and start, and you didn't know what's going to happen next.
David, were you born in Hamilton?
Yes.
You were. Okay, so perhaps you can confirm this rumor. Years ago, I was told that the Velvet Underground played McMaster
Yes,
University.
they did.
They did.
I've never seen it, but both Edgar Bro and myself have seen articles relating to it, the McMaster, and everybody hated. Apparently, everybody hated it. That's what we heard. We read it.
Now, what I'd heard was that aside from New York, this would have been their first outside of New York City show.
Could be because it was fairly early on. I think it's just when
the first song came out.
I can't remember if the Andy Warhol's whole visual thing was with it. I think it was, and but because first of all I wasn't there. Edgar and I had only read about it. We researched it and found out about it through some resources.
Yeah.
We were able to find out. But beyond that, I don't know. But I just heard it was critically panned.
You don't know who would have promoted that show, would you?
I have no idea.
I've been trying to find out.
They did play it, Matt.
Yeah, okay. I'd be interested in just like for my own selfish reasons, just talking to this person who booked the Velvets. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, because back then, Mac, they had other. I mean, the Jefferson Airplane played there with Kensington Market.
Wow.
They had been booking. I guess this would be around 1968, 67.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly big bands. I don't know where they played, but
they played.
But they played at Mac.
Right.
So, so that's interesting.
Unbelievable. 4:50. David Byers sitting in with me. We've got time for one more song. We'll get to it shortly. Before we do, we want to remind people that you can pick up this record on Judy G Records.
Yeah, well, that's the label. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it is available through the website www.theshangs.ca.
Available all the record stores here in the city.
Yeah, and it's on Bandcamp, which is a popular resource for bands and musicians.
Yeah. Do you like the whole internet thing? Of like having to, promote your music digitally
I
and
do, but I don't. I guess. I mean,
what are the pros and cons to an artist like you?
Well, The pros are, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do through the internet, through social media. But again, with that there's a lot more competition.
Right.
Like, so you're in competition with millions and millions of would-be musicians.
Right.
And that. So I mean, it has its points. I'm not going to criticize it, but it's out there forever how you're going to use it.
Right.
So,
are you finding it effective for this particular project right now? I know it's
well,
new.
I mean, the internet, yes, of course. I mean, you can get it out there in different ways, and the response can be immediate compared to before when everything was
Sure.
Mailed and letter written and mailed. You get immediate response, which is really great.
Yeah.
So I mean, it certainly has its benefits.
Well, the great thing that I'm finding about just promoting your music with band camps and things like that is that it's really opening up the horizons in terms of demographics.
Oh yeah.
Where you could have a 14-year-old kid listening to this and this being their next favorite band without knowing, right? It's just like accidental.
It's open.
It's like going to the delete bins again.
No, it's like that. That's probably that's probably a good way to analyze to analyze it. This is the new way. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of music. There's a lot of music out there, and a lot of different kind of music, and it's you're welcome to partake.
Is this inspiring you to write more music now?
I think so. I think I will. I think the next project will be to get this Saucer 73 project, put into place, and put a physical entity.
Right.
Because the music itself is basically finished. So it's just a matter of piecing all the other stuff that goes with a release.
Yep.
And then I think I'll be doing some more Shangs stuff.
What do you have a specific date in mind or time frame for the Saucer 73?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be the early part of next year. I think it's probably better to get it out in the beginning of a year than the end, because people think if something's released at the end of the year, well, by the next year you think it's
already
kind of
old
news. So it's better to really get it freshly done in
Sure.
in the early part of the year. I mean, this is the way the
Right.
things work. So I would anticipate it would be probably the early part of next year.
Fantastic. You chose a song for us to leave off with, a song called Claudine.
Yeah, Claudine is Claudine is Claudine Langer. She was a French act. She was married to Andy Williams, the famous singer.
Yeah.
She was a French sort of actress singer. She recorded a lot of albums in a kind of a really soft, wispy voice. With a French accent, but both Pat and Ed O'Neill, and I think we thought that she was really kitschy. She was also in the famous Peter Sellers movie, The Party.
Sure.
With Carol Wayne, the tragic Carol Wayne. So we wrote, our second album was named Langer.
Right.
And we wrote this song about her, not about her, but kind of a tribute to her, Claudine, and she's she's no longer around, but
right.
she had some notoriety because she apparently had killed her ski instructor boyfriend. I don't know anything the details, but
right.
but we thought she was kind of kitsch and kind of, a real 60s kind of icon, so we did write a song about her.
And that's how we'll leave today's show. Thank you so much for popping in.
Thanks, Lou.
Will you visit me again?
I appreciate it, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic. What would be great is having you bring in a bunch of music that inspired you next time.
Oh, yeah, definitely I will, yeah.
You produce the show next time.
I've got a lot of stuff that I love. So.
Folks, here's some music from the Shangs, from the Golden Hits of the Shangs. You can get it online as well as all your local record shops. And again, special thanks to Bruce Mowat for setting this up. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks, and I will see you at the shows. Bye for now. Awesome.
It's track 2.
This is Brandon, the gentleman who hosts the show right now.
Hi.
Nice
to meet you.
Yeah, all the best. Yes.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. Thanks very much.
Stay in touch. I'll send you that link for the download.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
The first hour is a lot of
appreciate all your interest. You know. That was